hundreds of miles away, and I shot it about 3 miles from here, 4 miles from here, right down the road, right on the road. Hey, I'll take it.
I programserien Nostalgitrippen får du följa med oss på Allt om jakt och vapen när vi gör våra nostalgireportage. Reportagen kan du självklart även läsa i tidningen. Varmt välkommen!
Ja, hej! Björn Ugglem här för Allt om jakt och vapen. Ja, nu befinner vi oss en bra bit utanför Fairbanks, ungefär kanske 6-7 mil. Och i skogen i närheten av Salsa som är ett samhälle här ute. I Salsa så bor de människorna som har så att säga dragit sig undan lite, som vill ha lite avskildhet. Det är framförallt jägare, fiskare, friluftsmänniskor och mycket hundspannsförare också som bor i det här området. Man har rätt långt till närmsta granne och man sköter sitt och hjälps åt när det behöver helt enkelt. Ute i skogarna här så bor en man som kallas för Alaska Mike. Han kanske inte är så där välkänd i Sverige, men i Alaska är han rätt välkänd. Han flyttade till Alaska för drygt 40 år sedan och hans liv har bestått av jakt, fiske, friluftsliv. För ett antal år sedan så hade han en stroke och han var riktigt illa, alltså det rann en stund. Men han påstår att det som har räddat honom tillbaks till livet, det är friluftslivet och jakten framför allt. Jakten är för honom någonting som är livsbejakande. Han sa åt mig bland annat att människor som inte accepterar jakt eller som inte förstår att jakten kan vara en nödvändighet, de på något sätt bestrider sin egen existens. Ungefär så sa han. Så han menar att jakt det är liv och det är väldigt livsbejakande. Han har många historier att berätta. Bland annat så han berättade vid ett tillfälle för mig att han, när de till exempel har en jaktkamp och de kommer någonstans, så brukar han gå ut och pinka på samma ställe hela tiden. För att när man gör det, då markerar man. Och finns det någon grizzly i närheten som tycker att det här är dens revir, så har man markerat att nu är det en annan predator här och det är någon som kanske är farligare än dig. Så den här grizzlyn kommer att tänka sig för innan den går in och så att säga river kampen eller attackerar några människor. Så han är alltså... Han är revirhävdande genom att han pinkar på samma ställe hela tiden och talar om för grizzlyn att nu är det en annan herre på täppan här helt enkelt. Han säger att han kan känna lukt också på långt håll. Han vet om det är karbo, om det är älg, han vet om det är grizzlybjörn i närheten och han tillverkar och säljer också. Han har ett eget litet företag som heter Alaska Mike och han tillverkar och säljer dofter bland annat som man kan smörja på stenar och träd och så vidare som man använder vid jakt. Så det anser han är en väldigt bra metod helt enkelt och det attraherar djuren. Det här med lukter är så extremt viktigt för djuren, säger han. Hela hans namn är Mike Dubofsky, Alaska Mike. Så nu ska vi ta oss en tur till Mike och så ska vi höra vad han har att berätta. Och historier, det har han nog av och han har mycket att berätta. Han har också en del tips till svenska jägare som kan vara bra att plocka med sig ifall man har tänkt ta sig en tur till Alaska. Ja, nu ger vi oss iväg. Det här ska bli spännande. Okay, Mike.
Yeah, well, I don't
It's
know.
nice to be here again.
Yeah, it's I came up here 44 years ago, and best thing ever happened is I met my wife and my kids. And, but I like to hunt and fish, and that's what I came up here to do, and to work, to teach. And I had, there you go. And I had, that's what I came up here for. Started hunting ever since, and when I look back on it, it kind of was backwards for me to start out hunting. I started out hunting, for grouse and whatnot. Then once I got to be a legal Alaskan, well, I didn't know where to moose hunt because you got to figure it out, and most of my friends couldn't figure it out. So, well, it was I went sheep hunting. I basically had a pilot fly me and a friend in, and went in and we killed. So I was my second sheep hunt, but we killed sheep, and that's the first thing I got in Alaska. Big game was a full curl ram, which is something kind of like the champagne.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, those are the tough. You know, I had some real good hunts. They were all good hunts. 4 out of the 7 we were successful in. So, you know, somebody got a sheep, but at least we all got back. Well, this time almost drowned. Crossing the river, you know, you cross them early in the morning, late in the night. But coming out, there were 4 of us together. And it'd been bad weather all week. And this stream, it's a glacial river that was kind of, you know, it's high to begin with, but if it's not raining, when it gets, it'll melt real hard, you know, during the day, and then in the evening, then in the morning, it's gone way down, and then you're able to cross it. But it's been raining a lot. I tried to cross it, but I was tied off to a rope. But my gun was on my pack, sideways. And when the water hits your hips when you're trying to cross it, and I was trying to cross it, and I had to walk and see, but when the water hits your hips, you have no balance.
Yeah.
Down I went, and then the best part was because my gun, the way it was set, was like a paddle. When it hit the grip, boy, it just drove me to the bottom. And my buddies are pulling, so I'm like a fishing lure at the end of a thing. And my buddy said that I came out of the water like a missile. Like all of a sudden I wasn't there, I was under, and whoosh, because I was leapfrog. I was going to leapfrog because I knew, you know, I get this so close, it's, you know. And so I got in, you know, but that's as cold as I've ever been.
You know, your whole life has been about outdoor life and hunting.
Or fishing.
Or fishing too.
Yeah, Jason, you know, that was one of our favorite things together, Eileen and I, is going fish on the Gulcana River. And every year, as soon as school was out, because she was teaching, I was teaching, the kids, you know, were little. We'd all go down there for, you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. And some of our friends who had kids, they would come and, you know, we'd all fish, and, you know, we had a raft and a boat. And, you know, it was just a lot of fun. And you caught kings. The idea was to catch a king.
Oh,
you know?
those are the best.
And, you know, sometimes it's real easy, and sometimes it's not so easy.
What do you think about when you're fishing and hunting? In my opinion, you have to be able to clean out and, you know, butcher the moose and make and cook it and make it
like
a meal from it.
I just
harvest for the winter.
I have some. We do salmon.
Yeah,
we smoke it, can it, freeze it for the most part. You know, freeze it. And, moose is the same thing. You know, we butcher it. Well, you've got to butcher it when you're out there. You know, that's a big thing. You can't just, you know, tie it up and, you know, drag it out like you can a deer. You know, it doesn't work that way.
How big was the biggest moose you ever shot?
Well, that I was ever in, not necessarily that I shot, but, you know, because we hunt as a group, you know, 4 of us. But
yeah. So
the biggest one I can say, you know, as far as antlers go, is that picture you saw, that my buddy with that big 72-incher. That was the biggest head. But as far as body-wise, we got one that, you know, it was somewhere around 50 inches, which is like the little one up there. And it just was so heavy. When we had it weighed, we took all the parts in, because that's when Prosperity sent it, you know, and we were, you know, taking it to an actual butcher to cut it and wrap it. It was 690 some pounds, you know, something like that, hanging weight. That's with the bone in it, you know. You know, you cut the hind quarters, the front quarters, and the back strap, and not counting the ribs,
and not the head,
and not the head. But the neck now, see, that's the thing people don't realize. The neck has a lot of meat.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
probably on a neck there's 40 to 60 pounds of hamburger, you know, that's just hanging there. Or, you know, some people like to make what they call neck roast, but, you know, it usually goes into hamburger with us, you know, because that's what the kids like to eat, you know.
No, that mostly what we do in Sweden with like bull moose or cows.
Yeah, but that's what you know, we do with a lot of it when
That's good.
especially when the kids were little. She was stayed home and raised the kids, and I was the only one working. So
Which is a really good thing.
which
If
meant
you have
that
kids, what is important?
if I'm going to have hobbies, it has to be something that pays off.
Yeah.
And hey, you know, the fishing, you know, that was a primary thing. You know, going and you know, and we had friends down on the coast. We were lucky, so you know, a lot of the time we, you know, go down there and catch halibut with them, and you know, have halibut and have salmon, and you know, then moose hunting. Well, we just got real good at it. We had a good spot.
How do you hunt over here?
Well, this place, because you saw the pictures, how wide open it is.
Yeah.
We're up on a hill that's overlooking that lake, and the lake is only. Well, if I say lake, I don't want you to think it's a big thing. It's more like a pond, I should say. You sit up on a hill overlooking that, and you can see for quite a ways, and you call, but you sit there. It's called cheek hunting.
Okay.
And that means
Cheek.
you're sitting on your ass, sitting on
Okay.
your butt, and you don't get up and walk around. You know, I mean, you know, you might get lucky, you walk around, and you know, that's happened over the years to everyone up there at least once, you know. Me, I was kind of, you know, it's like I was going to the bathroom one time. Got one because, you know, right there was the moose. We're right looking down from the outhouse. Jeez, there's a bull. But, no, you sit and wait, you know, and it takes patience. Sometimes you won't see anything for, you know, for days at a time. Well, the funniest one is the one time we did not see a moose. From the opening of the season was like the Thursday before Labor Day, and all the way through Labor Day. So for like 8 days, did not see one moose because the weather was so nice. But when I was coming home on this road right here, on the side of the road, I looked right on the field. There's a bull. You know, just got out of my truck, boom, you know, shot it. And time Vern got home, he had to come back, and we had to clean it. But you know, so I went hundreds of miles away, and I shot it about 3 miles from here, 4 miles from here, right down the road, right on the road. Hey, I'll take it. Yeah, but cheek hunting is the way to go, and it's part of the beauty of this place because you know we camp. And we have a kitchen that's covered. We have everything's covered. Everything's, you know, we had heaters in the tents. We used to have wood stoves, but after a while, hey, you know, I'm burning wood here. I don't want to. So we take propane heaters. And in the mornings, you know, it's such a magnificent place to be because in the mornings, you get up, you make coffee, and you only have to walk about 20 yards to be sitting where you're hunting, where you're going to watch from. You're like a predator. You're like a cat. You know, if you don't understand cats in a barn, you know, that's why they get up high and they watch. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you are. You're up there. You know, you don't have good nose, you know, like they do. You don't have a good hearing like they do. They'll hear you coming. You know, but a lot of times it's nothing to worry about during the rut. But your best sense as a predator, your vision, and your ability like a cat. And you see a spectacle of things. You know, one time I watched a moose come running down, all of a sudden showed up on the other side of the pond, as we call it. You know, it ran and then it just walked in the water, ran in and was literally shaking when I put the binoculars on it. because this would be like probably about 500 yards from me. You know, I watch this cow. She's standing in the water, and you can see her shaking physically, and all of a sudden here comes a mom and two pups. There were three of them, and you could see, you know, one was a lot bigger than the other two, so that's why I'm assuming it's a mother and two. And they were just screwing with this moose. They were just messing with it. They weren't going to come in the water there, and they're, you know, barking, you know, yipping.
Yeah,
You can hear them
yipping, yeah.
yipping at each other, and I'm hoping she comes out on this side, because if she comes out, she'll bring those running dogs, like all we call right here, would be about 150, maybe 200-yard shot, you know, if they come by there. And they just hesitate, because we'll be wide. They just I'll follow them. They hesitate, stop for a second. You know, it's a long way they would have to go without ever stopping. So anyways, I waited, and I didn't know what to do, you know, just watching. And I hear him yipping and yapping. I said, I wonder, because we've heard him and we've howled at him before, you know, and had packs answer us. And so I gave out a howl, and I must have been sounding like a sick wolf, because all of a sudden, they're all gone. He just disappeared before I could put my binoculars up and see which way they went. They were gone, because that howl, they weren't sure what it was, you know. And then that cow came out right where I wanted her to, you know, and went up. But you know, she saw her chance to just get out of Dodge, man, till those you know, those furry devils are gone, you know, wolves.
You told me about that you use something to put on the trees to attract the
scent. What
is that?
I have a small business. You know, the politically incorrect way to say it is moose piss.
Okay.
But what it is, it's cow in heat urine. It's taken from, you know, I get it from a place in South Dakota, North Dakota, and they get it from a moose farm in Canada.
Okay.
You know, they have moose farms and stuff, just like they have deer farms down in Pennsylvania, you know, where I go, you know, you can go all over and find them.
Yeah.
Deer farms. Well, they got moose farms in Canada. And that's where I get this stuff.
That's where you...
And they, you know, get it from when their cows go in heat.
And that, of course, attract the bull moose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you run tracks all over. You know, there's little tricks you use with it. You know, you keep it all in a certain area where, you know, we had our pond down there. Okay, and there were 3 places I'd put some on this end, but on that end I'd put it and kind of saturate the whole area. We call it the killing field for obvious reasons. That's what it was. You know, that's where you want them to come, and they either come through it, or they're leaving it, or they're coming to it. They got to pass through it.
Yeah, that's it.
So what that does to them, especially the smaller bulls, you know, that are, you know, a couple years younger than these, the what we call teenage bulls. That means they got their first rack, their real rack, the 3-year-olds. Man, they're feeling good. They don't know why, but they feel good, you know, and they get that scent, and they can't find it. And this is why it works so well. They can't find it, and moose are nocturnal. Okay, I should say, to let you know. Moose like to travel at night. They're a night critter. They'll come. I mean, we've seen them out feeding in the middle of the night with a moon and there's clear sky. You can see them down there, and so they come out and they move around at night, and so they find this scent. But when they track it out, it'll always end somewhere, you know, on the main tracks that I leave out. Well, then they come back looking for where, if it didn't go there, it must have came back, and you know, then they'll go out the other way, and the same thing will happen. They'll always run into dead ends. And then what a lot of times they'll do is they'll go in the thickest part of the willows and disappear, lay down, or they're just standing there. You can't see them because the willows are pretty high. You know, it's over a moose's head in a lot of places. That, you know, that you might see an antler coming through, you know, see a glint once in a while. But they'll go in there, and then as the sun's coming up, as it gets light, so that's when we get up in the morning, and you give a call.
Oh.
Sometimes it's really neat. It's instantaneous.
How does it sound?
The cow?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're calling them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call them with my mouth, and then we also have one of those classic, you know, like a bullhorn.
Yeah.
You know what that is? You know. But without it, I still do it without it. Like when you're walking up to try and get up to one, you know, you make a lot of noise. Well, if you call like a cow, you know, the bull's not going to be worried about what's that crunching I hear, because he hears that cow, and he also, remember now, I got scent out. That's my business. That's what I've been selling for years. It's out, so now you fooled his hearing and his scent, his nose. His eyes aren't very good. I mean, you know, they'll, you know, I've walked up to him, you know, this time of year when I'm hunting them, and well, there's not going to be much cover between here and there. I'm just going to try and, you know, keep one little spruce tree between him and me, and I'm a pretty big guy, so it's pretty hard to hide. But, you know, you just keep calling, and they see the motion, and they might actually see you, but they hear the moose, the cow, so they think it's, you know, they think it's her until it's too late, you know. But anyways, this is what it sounds like. So you start running out of breath, and then you give it, you know, a 10-second call like that, and then you follow it up with, you know, another same thing, a little shorter. And where we hunt from, when we do that too, all of a sudden you'll see a bull out, you'll see his antlers as he's coming through the willows and comes out to the pond. And some of the more memorable ones is because this bull came out on the other side of the lake, and he was walking along the lake like he was going to go up the hill. And if he's going that way, you know, you think you can go get him? You know, yeah, you could if you can run, but that moose will walk across that tundra.
Oh, yeah.
In the tundra faster than you can ever go. And since there's no road or any trail up there to even take a four-wheel, you'd make way too much noise in the machine, and he's just going to walk faster, and you ain't going to get him. But he was walking. I started calling again from up on the hill. He stops, looks across, just standing there. And I gave one, he started walking across the lake, up the pond, right across it. And there's about maybe 25 yards in the middle that he becomes a swimming moose. And the moose can swim real good, you know, and ain't no problem. And, you know, he comes out and gets to this shore, and when he stops, I give what they call a muted call. I'll look at him. And like, what you want to make him think that, well, I don't hear you calling, and so I'm not going to call your way anymore. I'm going to call this way. And I have a lot of room to move, so you move sideways along the hill. You change where your sound, the sound for them is coming. They're focusing in on you. Now they hear you here, you walk 30, 40 yards that way, and you can still see you call. Holy cow, this thing is coming. So anyways, That moose came right across. Oh, okay, there he is. Boom. Down he went right there. So that was right after I was out of the hospital the second year after the stroke. And anyways, we went down there and got it butchered. Finally got it up. But the crowning glory of this thing was, Dave, we'll see what happens. That's the perfect place for a bear bait, you know, and you're allowed to hunt bears over gut piles in the fall hunt, because that attracts them. The gunfire attracts them, you know. The grizzlies, it's like ringing a dinner bell. They know what that sound is.
And then
but most people shoot them, and we shoot them mostly in places where, well, you won't see them come up to it. You know, it'll be in a little too thick. I mean, we've had them even shot right across the other side of the pond. You know exactly where it is. And you watch it, and the sun goes down. You come up, and somebody will always want to go down and take a look, and be down there. Everything's gone. You know, and the bear will drag the hide and everything. I've watched them drag like a dish rag, you know. Huh. But anyways, you were going to watch a gut pile. Well, the next afternoon, it was a beautiful afternoon. Kind of half asleep on the hill, you know, drinking my coffee. And I opened my eyes, I looked down, and there is a really nice bear walking right into the gut pile. I says, oh man, Dave, you're gonna, you know, he's not sitting there. Oh man. And then maybe 30 seconds later, I'm just still watching her because she starts eating it. Boom, out walk 3 cubs.
3 cubs?
3. She had 3 cubs with her. That, you know, spring cubs. So this was her big treat. And, you know, we won't shoot one, you know, with sow with cubs.
No.
That's not my game.
No.
You know, some people would say, hey, we got to get rid of these grizzlies. But they're those beautiful toe clot grizzlies that have a real dark coat on top, or a light coat on top. It's like a little blondish, but it looks like God picked him up and dunked their legs in chocolate.
Can you call grizzly? You told me yesterday.
I called the one that we nicknamed him Scar. The Scar is pretty close to one of the biggest grizzlies taken here in years. And now the most fun about the last couple of years is watching the young kids take over. And basically I do two things, cook and call. You know, I'm, you know, pretty good at calling. I mean, it's, you know, just you keep calling, and sooner or later one's going to get close enough to hear you, and he's going to come in. And because of the competitiveness of the rut between moose, they're looking for cows. They don't want any bulls. I mean, these bulls that we get, because I think I know what's happened. They come down off of this big hill that's in Denali National Park. And we're on the outside of the park. And this happens, I know we're not in the park, we're in state land. And there's other places that just are all in state land. But the state will put certain areas off limits to hunting, but when you're 2 miles away, it's okay. And that's some of the rutting areas where they all start to gather. There's a place like that. You could drive to it right now. You know, an hour past Delta, right off the highway, Donnelly Dome Road. You're about halfway up. If you see 50 to 100 moose, it wouldn't surprise me. Huh. You know, big bulls, because that's where they all gather during the rut.
So what do you think about, I heard a report some years ago, there was a guy in Sweden that said that there were, like the moose, there weren't many moose in Alaska. I couldn't believe it.
Well, it's because there's so much land, okay?
Yeah.
You're not, it's, you know, the further north you go, like your moose are a lot smaller. Your antlers are a lot smaller.
Oh yeah.
You know, you probably never kill anything like that.
No, not in Sweden.
And I have a couple of sets, and I think at least one I know that's in there. That little 3-year-old, 2-year-old that just, you know, with, we call it, you know, bullwinkles, which is a nickname of a stuffed moose bear, you know, teddy bear.
Oh yeah.
They're bullwinkles, you know, they're little ones. But we like those the best because, you know,
Meat is
the meat is good, and plus, hey, the older I got, the easier. Hey, this is an easy one to handle.
Think about the stroke.
But
How important have outdoor life been to you after you had?
Because I wanted to get healthy again. I wanted to walk, and I didn't want my brother had died. I didn't want my mother to plant 2 of us in the same, you know, month of the same year. And I was determined I was going to walk again, go hunting again, right? And the next year I was doing all that. I could, you know, on a 4-wheeler.
Because you decided.
Oh yeah, I wanted to.
You were working.
You know, I couldn't imagine, you know, my life without it. And I got a hip replacement in that time because the hip went bad, and then it's kind of like dominoes. You have a problem with a stroke. Well, that stroke affects everything from your metabolism to your heart.
There's a lot of people all over Sweden hunting, and they're really interested in hunting and in outdoor life. Something you have to say to them?
Hey, you know, if they want to do it, you want to do it when you're young enough. Don't be like, hey, I have 2 brothers. Oh yeah, they'll come up when they retire. But when they retired, it was too late for them. They just weren't, you know, weren't in condition well, one didn't want to do it, but the other one couldn't. So do it when you're young. And if you're going to come up here, there's a lot of rules about, you know, you have to go like sheep hunting with a guide, which is a guide, I'll be honest, people that are coming up here that don't know anything, the guide is your life insurance out there because, you know, a lot of things that get you killed other than animals, you know, just being stupid and getting lost, you know,
Falling.
Going across the river, falling, you know, they take, you know, guides are pretty good, but I mean, they're expensive. But if you're going to come all the way around the world for once in a lifetime, why not do it right? You know, you'll hunt on a lot of private land, native-owned lands, you know, and because they give concessions out, you know, and then there's a lot of actually just, you know, we do as good. We killed over a couple of years. We've killed more big bulls than the guides have. It's really funny. My buddy shot one. It's way bigger than that. It was 64, so it's almost not about 8 inches bigger, and something like that. But anyways, it was when we were getting it cleaned up to do the European monk because he was gonna have it shipped home that way. He took us in the back room and showed us there were like 20 sets of antlers, and he says, "Look at these antlers. You're just bigger than any one of them." And all these guys paid. You know, because he's telling my buddy, these guys, they paid no less than $15,000 each just to get that privilege. And you got this on public land? I says, yeah, we got it, you know. I said, where we've been going every year. We just know what we're doing.
Tack för att du tittat på det här avsnittet av Nostalgitrippen. Reportaget kan du även läsa i senaste numret av Allt om jakt och vapen.